Donald Trump confirmed secret talks with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, but at the same time demands that Tehran surrender. Peace talks or a pressure trap? Trump says he has been speaking with the IRGC, rather than directly negotiating with Iran's leadership in Tehran. Put up the white flag, that is Trump's blunt message to Tehran as he refuses to soften his stance on ending the conflict. They're dying, the US president says, making it clear he is in no hurry to bring the Iran war to an end. Trump also says he has no time schedule for ending the conflict, leaving the timeline for a possible resolution completely open. They're good poker players, but they're dying, Trump said of IRGC leaders, as he described the pressure facing Iran's military leadership. The remarks came as the 60-day ceasefire deadline between Iran and the United States expired, adding another layer of uncertainty to the escalating conflict. Trump also dismissed concerns that the Iran war is draining America's weapons stockpiles, insisting that the United States still has plenty of firepower available. "What we've used is peanuts," Trump told Fox News, downplaying the amount of US weaponry that has been committed during the conflict. Trump said the United States still has ample supplies of mid-level weapons available, signaling that Washington believes it has significant military capacity left. Trump also weighed in on Israel's political future as the Iran conflict continues, raising questions about how the war could affect the country's leadership. Trump said he believed it was most appropriate for him to stay out of Israel's elections, despite his close involvement in the broader regional crisis. However, the US president left open the possibility of endorsing an Israeli candidate, meaning his political influence could still become a factor in Israel's election battle. According to the report, Trump has described Benjamin Netanyahu as his own worst enemy, highlighting the growing tension between the two leaders despite their previously close political ties. The reported remark comes at a crucial moment, as Netanyahu is seeking Trump's political backing ahead of Israel's October 27 election, hoping that an endorsement from the US president could strengthen his campaign. However, Trump has so far stopped short of publicly endorsing Netanyahu, even though the two leaders have repeatedly described themselves as friends and have maintained a close relationship on major political and security issues. Axios reported that Trump's hesitation to back Netanyahu is partly connected to the Israeli Prime Minister's weak standing in the polls, raising questions about whether an endorsement would actually benefit either leader politically. The report further stated that Netanyahu's Likud party is currently running neck and neck with, or even behind, Gadi Eisenkot's Yashar party in some polling, adding to the uncertainty surrounding the upcoming election. Meanwhile, opinion polls reportedly show Netanyahu's coalition bloc falling short of the 61 seats required to secure a majority in Israel's Knesset, potentially making it difficult for him to form a government after the election. In a sign of Trump's apparent interest in Netanyahu's electoral prospects, the US president reportedly asked the Israeli prime minister just 2 weeks ago how he was performing in the polls ahead of the October 27 vote. Netanyahu reportedly paused before one of his advisors told Trump that the Israeli leader was winning the race. However, polling now presents a far more difficult electoral picture for Netanyahu, with his coalition trailing its current Knesset strength and struggling to reach a governing majority. Netanyahu's coalition is currently polling at roughly 49 to 53 seats, well below the number needed to govern. His governing coalition currently holds 68 seats in the Knesset, meaning the projected loss would be politically severe. A governing majority requires at least 61 seats in Israel's 120-member Knesset, making every projected seat crucial. Opposition parties are polling at roughly 67 to 70 seats, potentially giving them a clear route to form the next government. Gadi Eisenkot leads Netanyahu on favorability in several polls, giving the opposition a powerful figurehead for this election. Netanyahu may not need to win outright if he can prevent his opponents from forming a government, turning a narrow electoral defeat into a longer political survival strategy. Bibi's current strategy is to deny the opposition enough seats to form a stable coalition, hoping rival parties fail to agree on a prime minister and governing agenda. That outcome could force another election and keep Netanyahu as caretaker prime minister for several months, allowing him to retain influence despite failing to win a clear mandate. Trump's closest advisors once expected him to endorse Netanyahu during the campaign, especially after years of close political cooperation and shared wartime messaging. Trump had also publicly pushed for a pardon to end Netanyahu's corruption trial, framing the legal proceedings as an obstacle to Israel's political stability. But the prolonged Iran war saw Trump and Netanyahu's political interests begin to diverge, as Washington focused on ending regional crises while Netanyahu faced pressure to preserve his coalition. Two senior U.S. officials told Axios that Trump still likes Netanyahu, but has become frustrated by several recent decisions. Trump has been asked 4 times recently whether he endorses Bibi, but each time he stopped short of giving the Israeli Prime Minister the public backing he wanted. Trump has described Netanyahu as a great wartime prime minister in several recent interviews, but his use of the past tense has added to speculation about their changing relationship. Trump has also not publicly renewed his earlier calls for Netanyahu to receive a pardon, another sign that the president may be keeping his distance from Bibi's domestic political battle. Trump needs Israel's election settled so Washington can push forward its Gaza peace plan without prolonged political uncertainty. A stable Israeli government could help keep the Iran crisis from returning to full-scale war, especially as U.S.-Iran diplomacy remains fragile. Washington also wants to advance negotiations between Israel and Lebanon, where unresolved security issues continue to threaten escalation along the northern border. A settled political situation in Israel could also help secure a wider security agreement between Israel and Syria, a key part of Trump's regional diplomacy. Trump is also seeking to broker a historic Israel-Saudi Arabia peace agreement, but Israeli political paralysis could delay or complicate that larger regional goal. Preventing another Israeli election cycle is therefore important for Washington, which needs a functioning partner in Tel Aviv to deliver its broader Middle East agenda. Netanyahu's opponents reportedly fear Trump could still step in with a last-minute endorsement, potentially giving Bibi a major boost before Election Day. According to Times of Israel, Gadi Eisenkot, Naftali Bennett and Yair Lapid have reportedly urged Trump to remain neutral and stay out of the election. Trump said in June that he would most likely support Bibi, but added that he wanted to first see the full field of candidates before making a final decision. With Election Day approaching, Netanyahu's biggest foreign political advantage may still be uncertain, as Trump has yet to officially guarantee his support.
Upgrade your news experience with the all-new HT app. Download now.